Hello, my name is Gary, and I was raised in the Western United States, so I'm a native English speaker. I hope that you will enjoy this YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.
James Watt and the Invention of the Steam Engine by Frank Peterbo Bachmann, 1871 to 1934. Until just over 100 years ago, the primary source of power for producing food, clothing, and shelter was manual labor. Cattle and horses were used to plow fields, while windmills and water wheels ground corn and wheat. However, most tools and machines were operated by hand. For many years, people dreamed of a new power more useful than work animals, sails, windmills, or water wheels. This new power was steam. Yet no one had been able to harness steam to grind corn and wheat, spin and weave cotton and wool, or perform any useful tasks. The man who succeeded in bringing this new power to the world was James Watt. James Watt was born on January 30th, 1736, in Greenock, Scotland, UK. His mother provided him with foundational lessons in reading and drawing using pencil and chalk. His father, on the other hand, focused on teaching him arithmetic and encouraging his use of tools. However, when James started attending school, his progress was delayed by frequent illness, which often kept him at home. As a young child, James had a keen interest in tinkering with objects. His aunt frequently scolded him, saying, "James, you are being quite idle. Take up a book and read. For the past hour you have said nothing, but have been focused on removing and replacing the lid of that kettle. Aren't you embarrassed to be wasting such valuable time?" James devoted much of his time to working in his father's shop, where he had a small workbench of his own. He crafted cranes, pulleys, and pumps, gaining valuable experience in working with both metal and wood. As a young man, he traveled to Glasgow to apprentice as an instrument maker. There, he acquired skills in repairing spectacles, fixing fiddles, and manufacturing fishing tackle from an experienced mechanic. James then decided to find a teacher in London. He wanted to learn quickly and eventually found a master who trained him. After finishing his training, he returned to Glasgow, but the guild would not let him open a shop because he hadn't completed his apprenticeship. Luckily, a professor at the university gave him a small room in the college to set up his workshop. James handled the cleaning and repair of instruments for the university, while also making and selling spectacles and fishing tackle. He crafted musical organs and dedicated his leisure time to reading. At the college library, he studied chemistry, mathematics, and mechanics. Coal mining was a major industry back then. As mines went deeper, it became harder to lift the coal. Water often flooded the mines, so a machine was needed to pump out the water and lift the coal. This need led to the invention of the steam engine. The idea of the steam engine fascinated James, so he began reading about past attempts to create engines. He found that the best books on the subject were in Italian and German, so he learned these languages. In an Italian book, he read about Branca's steam engine, and in a German book, he learned about Papin's engine. Building on Papin's ideas, Newcomen achieved success with his first engine, which he introduced in 1705. It was employed in English mines, but proved too large and inefficient for deep mining operations. The engine operated slowly and was costly to run. James Watt repaired one of Newcomen's engines, which initially ran briefly before stopping due to a lack of steam. Determined to understand why the engine consumed so much steam, James set out to investigate the issue. James found that 3/4 of the steam was wasted heating the cylinder. He set out to keep the cylinder as hot as the incoming steam and to create a vacuum inside it without cooling the cylinder. Despite working on this problem every day, he couldn't find a solution. Eventually, James installed a separate condenser to remove the steam without cooling the cylinder. He also modified the design to allow steam to enter above the piston, replacing the air. These adjustments transformed Newcomen's engine into a steam engine. In 1767, Watt and a partner finally completed an engine named Beelzebub. They spent months working on it in Wales, but it performed only slightly better on the second trial. Beelzebub was still far from a practical engine and was left to sit idle for a while. It's no surprise that Watt was disheartened and wrote to his friends, "Of all things in life, there is nothing more foolish than inventing." He added, "I am resolved, if I can resist it, to invent no more." He lamented, "Today I enter my 35th year, and I think I have hardly yet done 34 pence worth of good in the world." However, brighter days were ahead. Matthew Boulton, the owner of the world's largest hardware factory in Birmingham and employer of some of the best mechanics in Europe, became interested in Beelzebub. In 1774, he partnered with Watt. The old Beelzebub was sent to Birmingham, where the best mechanics worked on it. When tested, Beelzebub worked very well. Everyone who saw Beelzebub in action was confident that the invention would be a success. Even the modest Watt wrote to his father, "The fire engine I have invented is now working and performs much better than any other made so far. I believe the invention will be very beneficial to me." A way had to be found to improve the engine, and James was determined to achieve something remarkable. He stayed hopeful and brave as he continued to refine the condenser, piston, and cylinder. At the same time, mines were being flooded. James's engine was installed in the deepest mine, where it pumped out the water and kept the mine dry. Manuel Boulton, James's partner, saw that the steam engine could be very useful for mills and factories. So James began working on a factory engine, with the first one built for a corn mill. However, millers were against using steam engines in mills because they worried it would take away their jobs. James and Boulton decided to build a flour mill and install their newest and best engine in it. The engine became well known, and soon they received orders from France, Italy, and America. They overcame the challenges. Parliament did not take away the patents. Those who used them without permission were punished, and mine owners were made to pay. The partnership between Watt and Boulton ended in 1800. By then, Watt was financially secure, and his health improved as he was freed from business worries. He built a beautiful country home at Heathfield, from where he traveled to various parts of Scotland, Wales, and England. His home became a gathering place for old friends and some of the most prominent figures in England. He set up a workspace in the attic, where he continued to work until his death on August 25th, 1819.